new microphone. Let's see how this one goes. Hello, artists/large insects, and welcome back to another episode of Hungry Boys Do Hungry Things. So as you may have noticed, my hair is a little more purple now. It was supposed to be more purple because the box said it was going to be pretty purple, but that didn't really happen, which is fine. I still think I'm cute. But once this dye fades out and I wait a little while to give my hair some time to rest, I'm going to try it again with a bit more vibrant purple, because I really want purple hair. I've wanted it for a long time, and I've never dyed my hair an unnatural color. I'm blonde naturally, and I have been doing brunettes and blacks and auburns for the past 5 years now, and I want to try something new. So now that that's out of the way, and you can all stop freaking out because I look slightly different now, it's time to get into the meat of things. And you'll see what I mean by that in just a moment. I wanted to wait a little while before doing another sort of deep dive. I'm not really sure if you can call this a deep dive so much as it's just a weird thing that I found on the internet and I want to read memes out loud for 5 minutes. And there are also people on YouTube that do deep dives way better than I do. So I feel like calling this a deep dive is a bit of an insult to them, but let's get into it. Today we are diving into the annals of Reddit, my second highest supplier of nightmares, next to Tumblr.com. We've all spent a little too much time on the internet, for sure. If you're watching this video, you're probably one of those people. And we usually come across some strange communities. I've had my run-ins in the past with some people who were, you'll find out in the future when I make a video about that. And usually the strangest things that we find are porn or some kind of a weird fetish thing, but sometimes we find communities that are unexpected but oddly wholesome. My girlfriend just sent me this weird-ass subreddit that she found titled, "We Eat Bees." And your eyes aren't fooling you. That is Jerry Seinfeld. So I've been hooked on this subreddit for a few days now, and I would have made this video earlier. I just didn't think to do it, and I need to share this with as many people as I possibly can. So I love bees, and I've got a few, kind of cool stories about bees that I'm going to throw into this video. So the first thing that we see when we open this up, honeycomb banner. What else can you want from a bee-themed page? And we start off with Kentucky Fried Bees. This one's adorable. The bee macaroons. You know, when I said that this page was, oddly wholesome, it's kind of what I mean. You've got people that are just enthusiastic about bees. I'm enthusiastic about bees. I love bees. I love the little guys. How doth I obtain the bee? Ever wonder how computers work? It's millions of tiny bees, doing a lot of math, so you don't have to. You see, bees are versatile. They help us in all facets of life, not just pollination. Your cat grabs a bee and tries to eat it before you do. Hungry. Update, still no bees for me. Am furious my bee catcher is only catching gross wasps and grim flies. God, wasps can go fuck themselves, and this whole community is pretty much about that. Everybody in this community knows that bees are the superior species. So, story time.
I'm wired, I'm that sweet sugar man. I'm a crow man. Rah.
I had a job in Cooperstown about 6 years ago, I want to say this was. 5 or 6 years ago. I was a videographer at a baseball camp. If you're there, you know me and you know what camp I'm talking about. So I was a videographer and I was filming teams playing baseball. And one day I had gone out to one of the fields and I was filming. It was midway through the game. And I just hear some people screaming. It's a baseball camp, so I'm thinking, okay, either somebody got hit, somebody got a heat stroke, or something bad's happening. And I was looking around, I was trying to find out what everybody was screaming about, and I see people kind of running in a bunch of different directions. And then I look up, and over the field, coming over the dugouts was this cloud, this haze. And I'm really confused, because my brain isn't registering it at first. And all of a sudden I hear somebody yell, just screaming. Bees! I'm not a screamer, so that didn't really translate, but you get the picture. Anyway, not too much of a point to that story. It was just an entire baseball game that got ruined because a horde of bees decided to come out of nowhere because I guess a baseball flew somewhere and hit a beehive that we didn't know was in the park. And everyone just runs out of the field, scattering about, screaming, and the bees are chasing everyone everywhere. I got out unscathed, but I did have footage of everyone in that game getting attacked by bees, and I think most people escaped fine. I don't think anybody got seriously hurt. So, best baseball game I've ever seen. You ever get bitten into an apple and found a bee? Friendly reminder, bee, beant. We don't want beets in this household. We want bees. I want to be infested with bees. I fucking love Chris the Simpsons artist. A true friend is someone who can make you laugh until thousands of bees fly out of your mouth. That is a true friend, Chris. Say goodbye to the man bun, fellas. Say hello to the he hive. That is the best hairstyle. Good God, only in America. Enter hawk, pursued by bees. Peas with bees. Peas with bees. OMG, the things I would do to be that hummingbird. He's got some big snacks ahead of him. This man is putting bees in his mouth. I know these people are joking, but why live bees, you know? I feel like they're just helpful to the environment. Try our new Whopper with bees, only $1.99. I know I am kind of just reading out memes, which is not what people want to see too often. I don't really have a point that I'm trying to get to here, though. It is just memes of people eating bees. Story time number 2. When I was in high school, I went to a summer school called New York State Summer School for the Arts, and I studied digital media and animation. That's how I got to where I am today, because my teachers were super awesome, etc., etc. And that summer program was at SUNY Oswego by the lake. If any of you know where that is, it is just lovely. And during the second summer I went to this camp, there was a hive of killer bees somewhere on the campus that the school didn't tell us was there, or they didn't know, but once all the students had left, and the high schoolers were coming in for their program, there was a hive of killer bees on campus. And almost daily, our classes got postponed because none of the students could leave the dorms, and we couldn't get other dorms, so all of our classes had to be, pushed back and rescheduled. That was fun, because you never really knew what you were going to get. But to all of my Anissa friends, if you're watching this, shout out to you, because you all rock, and I miss you all dearly. I don't miss the bees, but I miss all of you. Although maybe if we all team up, we can find the bees and eat them. I know people do eat bees in some places, but God, even dead bees can still sting you. I have no problem with eating insects. I think I'd be too squeamish to do it, but they're animals just like any other, so I think it's fine to eat them. They're rich in protein, they've got other nutritional values as far as I know. But bees and wasps specifically, I know they can still sting you after they die. So I'm curious to know how they do it. Unless, do they just get stung and then they deal with it? Oh, if you're allergic, whoops, sorry, your throat's closed. Do you like bees? I like bees. What? Is this cat real? I want a cat with bee stripes on it. Salem, I'm gonna get you a sister with bee stripes on it. Not beepish. Bee piss. Yes. This bee's made of bee. Just as I suspected. Do they sneak into bee farms and steal bees when the farmers aren't looking? Because if they do that, then that's evil, and that's wrong. Side note to everybody who's tried convincing me that bee farms are evil, they're not. The bees are not confined to the bee farms. They actually have to go out so that they can continue pollinating plants, because the reason bee farms are there is to bring the bee populations back up and help the local environments.
A large influx of bees ought to put a stop to that.
Bees can leave whenever they want to, and all the farmers do is give them extra food and shelter in the winter. Oh no, but we're stealing the honey from the bees. The bees only use honey as a food reserve, and they don't eat it unless they absolutely have to. By giving bees food and shelter, they don't need the honey, and we just take whatever is left over. The only time beekeepers are ever cruel to their livestock is when they eat bees. Story time number 3 about bees. Going back further in time, when I was a little kid, when I was 12, that's little. That was 11 years ago, I think. God, am I 23? I haven't eaten enough bees! So, when I was 12 years old, my house got infested with bees during the summer. I lived out in the country. I lived in a house that was right next to the woods, and there was a team of construction workers coming into the forest, and they were cutting down a section of it so that they could build a new house up there. And I guess they knocked down a beehive, and the queen sent out scouts looking for a new home. And guess what home they thought was suitable? So, woke up one day, and there were at least 24 bees in my room. Ran downstairs. There were even more downstairs. My parents were trying to wait it out. They were hoping desperately that it was just a coincidence, but more and more bees started coming. We left, and we had to go to a nearby motel for a little while, and we tried coming back to our house a couple of times. There were just more and more bees, and we were calling different exterminators, trying to get anybody to do anything, but they were all either out of our price range or didn't want to come to our location. We were too far away. Finally, on the last day, we came home one more time, and we legitimately thought we might have to move. There was an actual visible cloud of thousands and thousands of bees over my house. You could be standing 1,000 feet away from my house, and you would see this cloud hovering over us, just this haze, and you could actually hear the buzzing from far away. It was nightmarish. Finally, a family friend of ours gave us the number to a beekeeper that she knew. We called him, said, "Hey, we've got a problem, got a ton of bees here, can you help us with it?" They said, "Yeah, sure, no problem." They were over at our house in about an hour. We lived far away from all civilization, so it took a while for anybody to get there, but they got to our house. They found an opening in the walls of our house, and they had to cut open a few walls, and they stuck in this long hose and sucked up as many bees as they could that were in the insulation. And their plan was they were going to suck up as many bees as they could until they got the queen. And they were there for a few hours. They sucked up most of the bees. There were probably still a couple hundred left, but they were all wandering aimlessly around, and they had no agency or direction, so they assumed that they got the queen. And they did. They left. They said that the rest of the bees would leave. We would have to keep all the windows and doors open so that they could fly out naturally. After a couple of days, all the bees were gone. We swept up all the dead ones that we found, and we asked them "Hey, thank you so much. You've dealt with this problem. We thought that we were going to lose the house. So what, how much do we have to charge you?" They said, "Oh, no, we don't want any money. We just wanted the bees." They took them away to a farm nearby and just said, "Yeah, this is one of the biggest hauls we've ever had." And so we just waited. We were expecting to get a bill of some kind eventually. Nobody could have done that for free. Finally, we got a letter and a package from these people. We expected to find a bill. No such thing. It was a thank you letter. They were thanking us. They sent us 4 custom jars of Marcelino brand honey. And I think we still have some of it to this day because we're not huge honey eaters in our house, but it was all natural honey. And they gave it to us for free as a thank you gift for giving them bees. So also, this was a really long time ago, and I'm not sure if anybody watching remembers this, but a couple years back, I had a Redbubble account, and I made a small line of bee-themed products and designs that went on shirts and stuff like that, so I will leave a link to that here. Maybe over my face. And I might actually make more of them, because bees are a very fascinating topic that I like. And it really saddens me to know that the bee population has been kind of in a downward flux. I mean, I know the population's going back up, but we still need to help them as much as we can. So support beekeepers. Please understand that they are not hurting bees in any way, and bees can leave whenever they want. And if you guys like those bee designs that I made a while back, let me know. I might make more. Because I want to do anything I can to spread information about bees. Also, side note, I am really hyped up on caffeine right now, so if I was moving around a lot, that is why I've been so blurry, because my camera is probably out of focus, because I don't have autofocus on my camera. Alright guys, well, that's it for this one. I'm gonna go find a bunch of bees and put them in a mailbox, so a hungry mailman can have a nice little surprise.